it. I'm trying. I'm getting there gradually. But well, a very great song to start off this segment. Good morning to you. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for staying with us as well. This is TV3 New Day, and it's time now for the big issue. We're going to be discussing two very important topics. I already gave you an idea what those topics were, but if you just tuned in, don't worry, we're going to go into it again. So on Monday, the president cut sword for the reconstruction of the Tema Motorway, which is a very good thing for every Ghanaian at this point who's been plying that route, because for the longest time we've been complaining about the potholes and literally manholes on that stretch. And you know, you use that stretch and sometimes you're not even sure if you're going to be able to make it back home safely, especially at night. And just a few days ago, we did a whole story on how there are barely street lights on that entire stretch. And so we're happy that finally the sword has been cut, even though for the minority, they think that this is coming a little too late. They're asking questions as to why the president has waited till 3 months to the elections to cut sword for the reconstruction of the Tema Motorway. There are also some figures that have been churned out by the finance minister with regards to how much money has been allocated for the reconstruction. And minority is also challenging that based on what they say Parliament approved before the reconstruction. So we'll get into that. And also, a group has petitioned the Office of the Special Prosecutor to probe the $245 million that we're told was spent on the All Africa Games. A lot of eyebrows have been raised about how much has been spent on feeding, on the refurbishment of some hostels on campus. Many people are saying that that should have even been able to put up a number of new hostels for the institution, knowing very well that we're already struggling with lack of accommodation for tertiary students at University of Ghana. And so they're wondering why about $16 million was used to refurbish some of these structures. And for students who have gone back to these structures, they have been wondering if there was any proper renovation at all, because a number of things are not working. The ACs that were installed per the last time that we visited and did the story, they had been disconnected. So really, what's the challenge? And this group wants the Office of the Special Prosecutor to look into that, to look into how much was given to GBC, how much was spent on feeding, etc., etc. So we'll discuss all of that on the show this morning. I have Elikem Kotoko. He's the Deputy National Organizer for the NDC. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Could be better.
You could be better?
Yeah.
What's wrong, traffic?
Well, waking up to news of the continuous news about corruption here and there cannot be something that a young person of my kind should be happy about.
I think I'm seeing grey hair here.
Yeah, I'm 40. I'm still young.
Okay.
You're
just above. You're a young adult.
Yeah. and I find it very worrying looking at the fact that we find ourselves in an economic mess. And the average Ghanaian out there, mind you, 8.5 million of Ghanaians have been pushed to extreme poverty levels.
No, 850,000, I think.
8.5.
It's 8.5? Okay.
And what this tells you is that probably we do not even have the middle class anymore. Everybody has been downgraded. You're either up there or down there. Then you hear that the school feeding is facing challenges. How much are we feeding them? Then 15 million is spent to feed some sportsmen over just on 15 days. Then 4.5 million is spent on accreditation. And all of these, it appears that the people aren't angry enough or are so tolerant, and therefore the governors want to just take us for granted. And this is a ticking time bomb that we need to be very careful about. It doesn't matter your party coloration. What is wrong, especially as young men. We should be bold enough. If indeed it is bold solutions you want to offer, then you must be bold enough to confront the challenges and tell us the truth rather than the lies that have bedeviled the system.
Well, I just wanted to cross-check the number. So it's 850,000 Ghanaians who were pushed into poverty.
That's still bad.
Yes,
not even
so it's not
8.5.
But yes, thank you so much for your introduction. But let me also welcome Enoch Afokwa, Esquire. He's not yet. You have been, yes. So let me address you properly. He's a member of the NPP communications team. He started intimidating us. This black and white that he's wearing early morning like this guy. We're everyone wondering. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You've been MIA, but it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
How has it been?
You're looking good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been okay.
Okay.
Like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said that to lead is to solve. And certainly the government of the New Patriotic Party, led by His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is solving the problems of our country. And he's leaving a lasting legacy where he will be remembered. History will be kind to Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. that people will remember Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's administration as the administration that really gave Ghana the level of infrastructure that we need as a country. In terms of sports infrastructure, President Akufo-Addo has given us sports independence. In terms of health, he's on course giving us health independence.
Independence in terms of road, way?
In terms of road, you understand it when we go into the substantives. In terms of road infrastructure, he's giving Ghana independence as far as the road infrastructure of our country is concerned. And various sectors, education, he's not the king of education as far as educational investments are concerned. So certainly, we are on course as a country, although we have challenges as a country, but the challenges are not over us. Government is putting in mechanisms and measures to solve and give Ghanaians the benefit that we deserve as a people. And certainly, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, in all humility, will ride upon these achievements and will come in with the bold solutions to be able to push Ghana into the fourth industrial revolution. Are
you sure you're talking to Ghanaians? Because the way you're saying they've given independence, road independence.
Absolutely.
All that.
In terms of performance.
You hold on. Let me introduce our third guest. Because, I mean, as you were mentioning all those things, you realize I was squinting, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you look at the figures, 850,000 people who have been pushed into poverty.
Certainly.
I mean, 1.9 million young people are untrained, uneducated, unemployed as well. And you're wondering, if you look at even the CD to dollar ratio at this point, which is 16 CDs, all those things. No, you don't worry, it's intro. I'm just also
it's
just.
Intro.
Yes, this is intro. Don't worry, I'll come to you. Don't worry, I'll come to you. But I'm just saying that I was squinting because if I think of all the figures and where we are now, you're saying that, history will be kind to the president.
Very kind. I mean, not just kind,
I respect your opinion.
Very kind
all right.
to His Excellency
I respect
the
your
President
opinion. Yes, lawyer. We hear you. Before you come and sue me. All right, Solomon Owusu is also here. He's a senior communicator for Movements for Change. Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
How are you doing?
By His grace, if I listen to these two political parties, after 32 years of mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy, unemployment at 14.74%, inflation at 20.9%, 33.3% falling in the multidimensional poverty threshold. Our mothers, our fathers who fought for this country worked diligently, having been given haircuts, poverty rife everywhere, hookups, the order of the day, and we are being told this. It will only be fair that the Ghanaian disassociate itself from these two political parties going into election 2024.
What is hookup, by the way? Which one are you referring to?
Young ladies at the universities, at the tertiary institutions are having to survive through hookups. Okay, it's a major challenge.
Well, it's not just the young women. In fact, we're told the young men are also engaged.
Absolutely. I mean, so it's a serious matter. We are being confronted with hunger as we speak. The nation risks facing hunger, and that is our electoral or examination scorecard. So if this is something that is good, and posterity will judge this as right, then so be it. But I believe that posterity or history will not be kind to any leader who has dug a big hole at $58 million that we are having to fill. And if this is what posterity will judge as right, then that posterity must be questioned. And so we from the Movement for Change believe that it's time for Ghanaians to rethink the way we have been voting. We are part of the problem. We cannot run away from it. Because we put leaders there. So if leaders are mismanaging the economy, mismanaging the country, that means we did not think right. And that is why, having been served with bad leadership for 32 years, by the 7th of December 2024, the Ghanaian will change its ways. All
right. Well, thank you so much. Rather lengthy introductions today, but yes, that sets the pace for today's conversation. And let me just remind you to play cash out *439#, select option 2, and play as many times as possible. You stand the chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis this morning before the show ends. Remember, you have to be a Telecel subscriber or an MTN subscriber. Play and play more. Good morning to all our viewers on social media. In fact, we're streaming live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. I'd like to say good morning to Mike Fire and to also Mensa Azanglo. And he says, Lamizanza. We haven't even started a conversation, already saying, what's going on? Lamizanza too says, good morning to you all and blessings and protections. Amen. Thank you. Awal is asking, who is that man? I have 3 men on the show, so which of them are you asking about? Someone says, Master, keep quiet. Hey, Christina, easy, Christina, it's too early. Bold forwards, Golo Florence. Nelson, good morning to you as well. Benjamin Kofi Hakma, he says, Bella, please allow him to say what he wants. December 7 is coming. I guess that yes, you also vote based on that. Okay, with Solo in the studio, I bet oh, no, don't say that, Hassan. It will end peacefully. Solo is a peaceful man. He's a very peaceful man, and so I don't want to go into that. But let's get into our conversation now. And so this Monday, the president officially cut short for the expansion of the deplorable 19-kilometer Tema motorway. And this has been received very well, of course, by citizens who have been calling on all governments to do something about the motorway. So it marks the beginning of a significant infrastructure project aimed at improving transportation and boosting economic activities within the Greater Accra region. Now, the thing is that, in fact, the motorway was inaugurated way back in 1965. It was to facilitate movements for goods and people. And at that time, it was designed for about 45,000 vehicles. It was supposed to last 50 years. We've gone beyond that 50 years, and we've not seen any major reconstruction. I know there have been some refurbishments here and there. In fact, in 2009, there was some 500,000 Ghana cedis that was supposed to have been used for refurbishment as well. That came with its own issues. But we're finally at that point where sort has been cut, and we're told that it's going to cost us about $339 million. However, the finance minister, when he was speaking, also gave another figure. So let's listen to the president first. We'll hear from the finance minister. And I'll tell you why the minority is raising eyebrows over that figure that he mentioned.
Particularly pleased to note that the contractor for the first phase of this project is Messrs. Mariproma Enterprise Limited, a wholly owned Ghanaian company. This is a testament to the capacity, capability, and ingenuity of our domestic enterprises, and I'm confident that they will deliver this project to the highest standards. It is a source of great pride. The reconstruction and expansion of the Accra-Tema motorway is taking place during my tenure as president. This project is proof of my government's commitment to building a Ghana that is modern, prosperous, and connected. I urge the Ministries of Roads and Highways and Finance to continue working diligently to ensure that this project is...
And the time has come to renew and expand this motorway to meet the needs of a modern and rapidly developing Ghana. The total cost of the entire project scope of work is $660 million, with the first section alone requiring $380 million. Through the strategic leadership of our government and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, we have secured $380 million in equity and viability gap funding. Moreover, by relying on a PPP approach, we can invite financial institutions and a wide range of investors to further contribute to financing our nation's future.
All right, so you've heard from the finance minister, Honorable Amin Andam, and of course the president as well. And the minister says that it's going to cost us about $660 million to complete all three sections of the road construction. In fact, Section 1 will be the Accra to Tema motorway roundabout to Tetekwashi interchange. And then Section 2 will be Tetekwashi interchange to Apenkwa interchange. And Section 3 will be Apenkwa to the New Plan junction. So that's the plan. But for now, they've cut short for the construction of just one section, which is from on the Tema motorway, so from Accra to the Tema motorway roundabout. And so that's basically it. Now, the minority is challenging the figure that the finance minister has put out, and I'm wondering why. Well, good thing is that Elikem is here and he'll tell us why. Elikem, what is the problem? What's wrong with what the finance minister said?
Thank you so much, Bella. Let me wish Bobby and Sarah a happy birthday.
Oh, it's his birthday today.
Yes.
Okay.
And Bella, it's very worrying, the rate at which things seem to be deteriorating. And yesterday was no different. And as you heard, Parliament is very aware that if you have to go through the records and the handsets, this whole project started as far back as 2019 when government talked about the need for them to do a PPP to expand or work on the motorway because it had outlived its lifespan. And then there was a time in 2020 or so when they were reconsidering the design and build contract, amongst other things. Now, President Akufo-Addo, with just some few months to bow out of power, seemed to be on a certain mission, either to dupe the Ghanaians further or perpetrate evil.
Why would you say that?
Because if in Parliament, and the records show that you have gone through these, and parliamentary approval that has been given is $339 million.
Is it for the entire project, or because you heard the minister, he says
Yes.
for Section 1?
Yes, so where from the Section 2 and 3, which probably was not given approval, why must it now be put in various sections in order to give somebody the leeway to find an avenue to not extort, but engage in what we will call criminality? Because, you see, you cannot decide to be doing things on your own as though Ghana was your own property. And you, if you look at what they were saying, for instance, from the interchange to Apenkwa area, the Fiesta Royal, etc., what else needs to be done when that enclave is 5 or 6 lanes already? So are they just going to make an asphalt overlay and come and tell us that alone is over 100 million? This is what has happened to us, and we have spent $58 million in digging a hole because a president had a dream, nobody was there with him, to build for God a cathedral, which he has even failed at. And he's very proud to scam God. That is almost 17.1% of the 300 and something million that they said they have secured in equity financing. And so I do not understand why this government or the regime thinks that they can do things without recourse to the due processes. If Parliament has given you approval for 339, if there is need for any changes, don't forget, that is another albatross hanging on the neck of even the vice president.
Why?
In the case of the PDS scandal, where the vice president who chaired the meeting was there and overlooked things and ensured that certain conditions in the agreement were changed. And this was what resulted in the scam of the PDS. We lost over $190 million by reason of that misconduct by the sitting vice president.
Why are we linking this to the vice president?
Because it is money we are dissipating. This is public funds. And don't forget that in my beginning, my initial statement, I made, and you actually corrected me, 800 and close to 1 million Ghanaians have been pushed down to extreme poverty levels. The very people who we used to classify as middle class, etc., are no longer there. They are now down there, and they are struggling. So why would you think that there has been a change in scope of work? And therefore, let us now say that, we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or session 1, session 2, and 3. So session 1 alone costs 300 and something million. And so then they will come out to say, the NDC is unaware. It's because they are limited in thinking, because we are only talking of the motorway, which costs that amount. What about the 2 and 3? Why hasn't it also been added to what needed to go through Parliament, so that Parliament will look carefully at all of this? If not for criminality, what else would there be? And I am now giving the room to doubt your fairness, your objectivity in the discharge of duties. Because if you think you want to do things right, then you need to go through due process for everyone to be very abreast and content with what is happening. But you can't now take your own will to decide that, okay, this part maybe I'm taking through Parliament. After it's been given approval for 339, let's add a phase 2 and phase 3, and that is also 100% of the amount that has been given approval to. So to the best of Parliament, what they have approved is 339.
Now, what I want to find out, and I know you're not in Parliament, but I don't know if
Yes.
you've had conversations, because the person who raised concerns about this is Honorable Governor Agbodza, and he's government spokesperson, or he's the minority spokesperson on infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
So he said that Parliament, and I quote, Parliament only approved $339 million multi-year funding for the project. We did not approve $660 million. no one has the right to commit the country to further or to future spending on the projects without approval from Parliament. What I want to know is this 339 million, as at the time it was approved on the floor of Parliament, was it for the 3 sections or for just one?
I want to believe that it is even for the 3 sessions. Because once they have actually brought this to Parliament, definitely it will not be out of the scope that has been defined to Parliament. It is a reason why it is of worry to everyone that if there has been any change for whatsoever, and you see, Bella, for some time now, interestingly, we even quote these projects in dollar terms. And so if in dollar terms and the cedi is even depreciating, why would you want to make us believe that when the cedi is depreciating, it is affecting the dollar as well? It shouldn't be. Because there cannot be any justification for a program that is worth $100. For you to now tell me if the dollar to the cedi was, let's say, $1 to 6 cedis, and it has moved from $1 to 12 cedis, it is still the same dollar. So what is the justification? Maybe we would have to hear from them what has necessitated the need for this figure to balloon by over 100% of what was approved by Parliament.
Okay, let me ask Council, because you would have to respond to this. Why are we hearing $660 million during the sword-cutting ceremony when Parliament says that they only approved 339?
Bella, let me say a very good morning to yourself and to my co-panelists on your show, and extend the greetings of His Excellency, the Vice President, who is also the incoming President of the Republic of Ghana, inshallah, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, to your cherished viewers as well. Bella, I am clearly awash by the choice of words of my brother, Elikem. I've not known him on that tangent, but probably he is only struggling to satisfy the interest of his political divide.
Which word exactly?
By describing the president as the actions of the president as criminal, that the president is going to dupe Ghanaians further, as if the president has duped. It's an established fact that the president has duped the people of this country.
58 million, dug a hole.
Elikem, you let him make his point. Let him make his point. So your point being?
That the president has duped the people of this republic in the past, and he's set to do same again. That is not to be accepted on this platform. In fact, the president has performed creditably in all terms and has been transparent and accountable to the people of this country. He has not been cited in any fraudulent or criminal conduct as far as his service and stewardship to the republic is concerned.
Has he been accountable, though?
Very accountable.
In what way?
Oh, his budgets have been through Parliament. All his activities have been sanctioned through executive authority and through Parliament, the approvals of Parliament and parliamentary scrutiny. Where in the Auditor General's reports or in the CID's records has the president been indicted of any criminal or any wrongdoing or criminality. Bella, we should be careful when we sit on national platforms of this nature and begin to speak and impugn motive against some individuals just to cause injury to the reputation of these individuals. It's not something that we must entertain.
I mean, if you're talking about accountability, there are various forms, but when is the president going to avail himself even to the media so we can have a conversation with him about some of the decisions he has taken as president?
Oh, I heard in the past that His Excellency the Vice President can never organize a press soiree to meet the press, but I was happy to see you there and ask a question.
I'm asking about the president, not the vice president.
Certainly. So once a challenge was thrown that His Excellency the Vice President could never interact with the press, as was done by the perpetual flag bearer and leader of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. John Dramani Mahama. He proved all of us wrong.
But we didn't get the answers that we required because he said that for lots of the things that we're asking for, he was not the one whose name the budget was sent to Parliament in. It was actually the president's name in which the budget was sent to Parliament. And so for a lot of economic decisions...
No, was he right or wrong?
Well, so that's why I'm asking that. So when is the president... And not to digress, but when is the president going to
but his answer was premised on
for questioning?
Article 57 of our Constitution and Article 78 of our Constitution that grants executive authority to the President of the Republic. And the President is also the chairman or chairperson of Cabinet. Dr. Bawumia has never chaired Cabinet meetings before. He has never exercised any executive authority in this country before. He has never sent any budget to Parliament in his name before as President of the Republic.
Okay.
So if he says that it is not in his name, he was right in all certainty to have made that allusion to the public.
Let's just say he was right.
Yeah, he was right.
He says that all those budgets were sent in the name of the president.
Absolutely.
When are we going to get to question the president on the various decisions that he's taken concerning Ghanaians and their livelihoods? Because you are talking about the president being accountable. How has he been accountable to the people that voted him into office?
Through Parliament. That's the people's representative. Through Parliament. Where in this republic has the president breached his responsibility of going before the House of Parliament to administer the State of the Nation address, which is a constitutional requirement to the people of this country?
No, hold on, please. Let him answer.
For his 7-year reign as president, has he ever breached that responsibility of accounting to the people of Ghana through the State of the Nation address, Bella? He has never breached that sacred duty, sacred constitutional duty. So he has ever been accountable to the good people of our country, except to say that he has not met the press to interact with you, as has been done by the vice president 2 or 3 days ago. But certainly I know that the president, as he has been accountable and has been open and run an open and accountable governance, will certainly do that and beat the media, the fourth estate of the realm, before he finally bow out of office.
Are you saying that on authority,
in the coming?
Or you're not sure?
Oh, yes.
You're assuming that he might?
I know that the president will certainly meet the media, because he has been doing that in the past. You remember that in the first term of his governance, he met the media at the Jubilee House, where even Countryman Sungu and a couple of others were asking questions about Akwesi appointment and reappointment and a whole lot of things. So this is not the first time that the president has ever interacted with the media, and he will continue to do that. And that is not the only forum of accounting to the good people of this country.
I understand.
There are several tools.
Which is why I asked you that if all those other ones may have been met, what about accounting directly to the people? But let's get back to certainly
it's an ongoing. You remember the fellow Ghanaian mantra. It's also an interaction with the media.
Okay, carry on.
So certainly, with regards to the 26th August groundbreaking for the reconstruction and redevelopment of the Accra-Tema Motorway and a segment of some major highways in Accra, the president made some admissions that there's significant projects. You know, the lifespan of the motorway was in 1965, when the motorway was constructed and was handed over, was to last for 50 years. Although it has seen some significant maintenance throughout its lifespan, was supposed to have been lapsed by 50 years. But this is the time that the motorway is now 59 years from 1965 to 2024. It is almost 60 years now since it was constructed to serve its purpose. And certainly something needs to be done about this motorway. And like my brother rightly said, the whole process to reconstruct the motorway or to redevelop the motorway into a major express highway started in 2019, where there has been ups and downs as far as the reconstruction and the redevelopment were concerned. And all these matters as far as the finances of the state were concerned. So government was looking at creative and using genuine creative measures to be able to secure funding to support and construct this project for the benefit of the people of this country. Lo and behold, in 2020, an Act of Parliament was promulgated. And this Act of Parliament is called the Public-Private Partnership Act of 2020, Act 1039, which has clear covenants, clear legal provisions as far as entangling the state in a public-private partnership mantra is concerned. And under Schedule 1 of the PPP Act, Schedule 1 gives clearly the status or the amount of the value of projects and the approving authorities as far as those projects are concerned. And under projects where the state is required to go before Parliament under Article 174 and 181 of our Constitution, and you know that Article 174 clearly talks about taxation, whether you are introducing a tax measure or you are giving a tax waiver or partially or in that regard. If that concerns the project, then you must certainly go before Parliament to seek parliamentary approval. Okay. And secondly, under Article 181, when the project, you'll be going for a loan to be able to pursue this project, then certainly you must also go to seek parliamentary ratification of this project before Parliament. Quite apart from this, then you must also explore other options. Cabinet has the power to also approve projects whose value in CD equivalent is almost above $200 million US. That is the threshold of cabinet approval. And below that, when you go to other sectors, the other sectors also have the various ones. The district assemblies have a $1 million CD equivalent threshold. Municipal assemblies have some 2 million, and metropolitan assemblies have some $5 million threshold, where the general assemblies of the various assemblies will have to approve of those projects before those projects you can bond the state or the assemblies into a public-private partnership in that regard.
Okay.
So certainly, as far as approvals, because this is clearly a public-private partnership arrangement, and the threshold within which this project scope light is above $200 million, certainly Cabinet has the power to approve of this project.
Okay.
We are coming to the substantive matter of why Mr. Agbodza is saying what he said. Mr. Agbodza clearly stating that Parliament approved, is it 339? 339,
yes.
39 million US dollars. Because of Government of Ghana's equity, as far as this public-private partnership is concerned, and using leveraging on the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, the GIF funds, to be able to support it, the Government of Ghana's equity into this project is the said amount of money that Parliament of Ghana approved. And government is also leveraging on the private sector because the scope of this project is so broad, and the total project cost is the $660 million US dollars, as mentioned by the Minister of Finance, who is the head of the Treasury of our Republic, clearly mentions that the general scope, the totality of the amount of money that will be required to be able to undertake this project. And mind you, it is not only the 19.5 kilometers of stretch from the Tema Motorway roundabout or the Tema Motorway interchange to the Tetekwashi interchange stretch. It stretches from Tetekwashi interchange, like that is the phase one. The phase two also stretches from Tetekwashi interchange to the Apenkwa flyover, then from Apenkwa to the New Plan junction around the Achimota Road. And there will be interchanges and road development and road modernization of the various interchange projects.
Which is what Elikem was asking, that what is wrong with those roads that we even need to redo? When you look at from Tetekwashi interchange to Apenkwa and Apenkwa to New Plan, he was asking that what is wrong with those roads? Because as far as he's concerned, those roads are fine. What is there to fix?
You see, these are some of the things that we say, that we need not to let our roads deteriorate. This is a road project that is coming. You know, a 10-lane major express highway is coming, and the inflow of the traffic into this narrow stretch means that there will be traffic build up at the exit point of the major inflow. So certainly you need to open the mouth of the inflow so that it will contain the volumes of traffic that is coming. Okay,
so it's 5 lanes to Tema and 5 lanes back? 5 lanes to Accra, yes. Is that what has been agreed
Yes,
on?
that's the 10-lane express highway. Okay. 10-lane express highway. And coming to enter. And you see, even from Tetekwashi interchange, meaning that the whole interchange, Tetekwashi interchange, will need further redevelopment of the interchange to be able to contain, because the current design would not suffice as far as this 10-lane coming in is concerned. Because currently, what flows into the Tetekwashi interchange is just, is it four lanes? Because 2 here, 4 lanes. So essentially, once you are adding 6 lanes to it, the other auxiliary roads that is linking the Tetekwashi interchange will also need to be opened up, extended further, and all the rates, which will also cost money. When you come to the Liberation Road here, the Polo Junction there's going to be also another flyover around that side because of the traffic, the traffic flow into that segment of the roads. There will be flyovers on the various and footbridges on these stretches because of how wide these highways are going to be concerned. And look at the volume of investment that will go into this matter. It is one that is going to consider the economic performance or the economic inclusion of our country, environmental inclusion, and social performance inclusions as far as these developments are concerned. And certainly, if Parliament is contesting these figures, clearly because it's a PPP arrangement and it is not a directly Government of Ghana funded project, Cabinet has the power to approve of this project. That is why probably they did not have the opportunity of going through the entire project scope and those kind of things. But once they have been able to approve of the equity that Government of Ghana is supporting this entire project with, and because it is a multi-year contract, because this PPP arrangement Parliament approved is for 30 good years. 30 good years for the consortium.
30 years?
30 years. Between the Government of Ghana and the TA Express Limited, which is a subsidiary of the the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of that. Together with the other partners that is coming on board, we'll be managing and we'll be tolling this stretch of roads or these highways for 30 good years to be able to recoup their investment, the liabilities that they incurred, and their return on equity as far as their contributions into this laudable project is concerned. So certainly, it is not that government has aired legally or procedurally, Parliament approved of a sum of money. That government is going beyond what or usurping the powers of Parliament in doing what Parliament has not undertaken.
Okay.
Parliament has directed government to do. But clearly, government is going on the basis of law and has not breached any stint of legal provisions and procedure as far as this transaction is concerned.
Okay.
It is clearly transparent. It is clearly an accountable project. Where lies the benefit of this project? We will not only serve the interest of Ghana, but will serve the interest of Ghana and the sub-region, ECOWAS sub-region as a whole. Because it is serving the Sahel region and the other ECOWAS sub-region because an ECOWAS highway from Aflao to Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, and those kind of things. Once we are using Ghana as a transit point and doing a business because Ghana is the capital of African.
Please land for me, please.
Certainly.
All right.
We all have to benefit from this project.
We'll come to the issue about
government at the back.
We'll come to the issue about why it's taking this long for you to sign this or to cut short for this. I mean, shouldn't this have been done earlier? But let me come to Solomon. I mean, per the explanation that he's given, do you agree with Governor Agbodza about this figure, or do you think his explanation suffices?
Let me say that I find it difficult understanding my brother Afwakwa, and I don't know why he has to sweat on this.
I'm not sweating, Solo.
I don't know why he has to. The truth of the matter is that Parliament approved $338.8 million, which is almost $339 million, as far back as 2023, on the 15th of December. And Parliament could not have approved partial payment. You understand? We are going to undertake a major project. And we have known the scope of the project at all material times since 2018. Remember this project started, Motor Angel, that Portuguese South African company was originally going to do it. And here let me commend Kwame Agbodza, my former vice president, for speaking loudly about it, that we had Ghanaians who could undertake this project. So finally government settled on Maripuma also, which is a holy God. And it's a good thing. I also commend government that having listened to the minority, they decided to reverse the contract that they were going to give to foreigners to a Ghanaian wholly owned company. So at all material time, we had known that from Motorway to Tetekwashi was going to be 19.5%, from Tetekwashi to Apenkwa 5.7%, and from Tesano Junction or Apenkwa to Neoplan.
You mean kilometers?
Kilometers.
Okay.
To 2.5%. And it was based on this.
Kilometers.
2.5 kilometers.
Yeah.
Based on this that they costed it. Because you see, the design, if the Minister of Finance was telling me that the design has changed, cost changes with design.
Yeah.
You have not told us that cost design has changed. So on what basis are you varying it? And even if you want to vary it, you must go back to say where the animal is tied. That's where you relieve it. You must go back to Parliament and then cause Parliament to pass or approve your variations. All of a sudden, we are told that it's going to cost 660 million. Along the line, I mean, when this contract was given to Motor Angel, I heard Jalula, the former, existed the Deputy Minister of Transport, say that it was going to cost government $517 million or so.
Yeah.
So even going by Jalula's position, what has happened between that time and this time that it has been inflated to 660? You see, what we are being treated to is that this country, we take advantage of problems. You understand? We all know that the motorway is a problem. And the Ghanaian wants it to be fixed. And in doing so, we try to enrich our pockets. This is a clear case. No one can convince me
that they're trying to enrich them.
Of course, it has been inflated. This whole project has been inflated. But it is not only akin to those government. You remember in this country, during the NDC's time, a whole runway 1,985 at Kumasi, we were having to spend $29 choppable million. At the same time, the Ethiopian airport enterprise was constructing 3 runways. That was 2,500 meters, more than ours. And they were spending $60 million for 3, longer than ours. So that has been our bane. You remember in opposition, that's why I'm very surprised that my brother is sweating on it. We were all in the same party. We accused the NDC government whilst we were in opposition that they had inflicted, the Kanswa Road, the way and manner he had to take this government on, the NDC government on, for telling Ghanaians that he expended 174 million, was it euro or so? You remember the Dubai, what we said? And indeed, these projects were inflated. From whichever angle you look at it. And that is why Alan Chemate has been saying that the issue of behavioral and mindset
needs to change.
It needs to change. Because the mindset will cause you to be patriotic toward the country. Who is taking care of this country? Who is taking care of this country?
But Solomon, have you bothered to ask? Because that Motor Angel deal, it was awarded in January 2021.
Yes.
Between January 2021 and August 2024.
Yes.
If the price has moved from 570 to 660, could it not be because of inflationary, factors and a lot of other things, the fact that prices have not remained the same? Could that not be the reason why it may have gone up?
First of all, this project has been priced in dollar. It's a dollar denominated. And if I'm going to go by your argument, what is the inflationary rate?
It's a question I'm asking.
Yes, the inflationary
argument.
rate will not be able to put the figure on the $660 million they are talking about.
Okay.
Unless and until the minister comes back to clarify that there has been a variation in design, which will lead to a variation in costing.
So would you say that's the mistake he may have made, that he should have gone back to Parliament?
I don't think it's a mistake. It's something that they want to push through it. We are in this country that we have been told that we are going to expend 8 billion on dealing with the crisis pending. Nobody knows how they arrived at that. Listening to the minister, it was pathetic. We are talking about Pualugu, a whole Pualugu Dam. That was going to cost around $900 million. Yeah. To deal with the crisis, we are telling us we are going to spend $500 million, which is not going to be a permanent resolution to the matter. So next year, we come back, and then we are faced with the same thing. You go and expend $500 million. So where are we going? So clearly, the minister needs to come back to us, get all the facts right, get us the detail, because at the end of the day, it is our tax revenue. It is our tax money. You and I are going to pay for it. But I want to commend the government for also listening to the strategies of Mr. Alan Chemate again. If you go to our GTV.
Okay.
Now the Ghanaian is beginning
You've covered the table, Mike, so
yes, the Ghanaian is beginning to, this guy, but better late than never anyway.
Which advice did
we have been preaching since 2023, and he was even doing it whilst in government.
What exactly? That
government must adopt the PPP strategy. It does not pay to always wait for tax revenue to embark on any infrastructure development. It doesn't work that way. At what point are you going to collect the much needed revenue to be able to fix all your roads, fix all your hospitals, invite the private sector into it? And now I'm happy that the government has seen the wisdom. Though their initial response was that they were going to go into a loan agreement and give the contract to Motor Angel. Now they have seen the need. I'm happy for that. I want to thank them for listening to Alan Chemate. Though belated, if they are listening to him early on, we will not be finding ourselves where we are now. So we can proceed on that tangent. So
you've listened to him explain why he says that, because of PPP, there was, they had given Parliament an update on how much they were going to spend. But beyond that, if the private partnership is coming in as well, then of course that's where the increase in figure comes in. I believe that's what you meant, right?
I don't see where there is justification that you are even going to public-private partnership and you think that there shouldn't be full disclosure to Parliament on certain aspects of that agreement. I'm yet to even be fully aware of any very successful PPP this regime has gone into. And you see, if he is not aware, I would want to remind him again that his president, our president, who they wish to even compare to Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, promised us, told us in the face that they were building a cathedral on, and not a peswa of the taxpayers' money was going to be put in that. In the end, what happened? It was fully funded by the taxpayer. And we've dug a hole worth 58 million. And that's what I'm telling you. That if we had even stuck to the 339 million, the 58 million which they have spent by even importing a stone from Israel to come and bury there, making clowns of themselves through that exercise, 17.1%. We wouldn't have been here talking about even the PPP and all of that. We can raise the money. Hey, interestingly, in the agreement, they are now talking of building tolls. You have decommissioned all the tolls in this country. Almost $10 million we're making monthly. You say you don't want them. You said as a result you are introducing e-levy, and that will provide 11 million jobs. The finance minister, the former finance minister, he's working a free man after deceiving us all in that manner. You know, 3 months ago, or 4 or even 5 months ago, they cleared this motorway. It was cleared way ago. Only God knows how much was spent even in doing that. 2 or 3 days ago, they had to clear it again. And this is a program that is supposed to last 36 months. We are looking at 3 years. On average, we know that that target will not be met, so it's about 4 years. And this is what you are telling us today. And you think that we should have believed. Look, I gave you an example of, if you look at the motorway end here, into the interchange to Apenkwa, it is already about 5 or 6 lanes. In 5 lanes in, I think it's 3 lanes, then there's an outer lane of 2. So it's about even 6 lanes already. Yes, there might still be a need for a change of scope of the design, probably here from entering, which we feel that there's need for you when going to Tema from the airport enclave area, you need to just fly over and go and all that. But if that was the reason, why is Parliament not aware? Why has the figure ballooned? And that is why it is difficult for anybody to believe that all of a sudden, a project that is even dollar denominated already, not CD denominated. If it was 339 million CDs you were talking of, or you were even talking of 700 million CDs, and suddenly you said by conversion that would actually change to this amount. So this is just broad thievery. And if I am giving you examples of other outstanding matters of the All-African Games that we just finished, the hole that the president has dug there, that till date, not even his spouse has confirmed to us that while they were in his bedroom, she heard the president pray to God and promise God that if you make me win an election, I was going to build for you a cathedral, of which even for 2 terms, for 8 years, he has been unable to fulfill that. That should tell you such a character is a scam. If you truly believe in God and fear him, you will not renege on that promise. That should be one of the priorities of all priorities. And that was what he even made us to understand. The cathedral was a priority of priority. And we'll have to keep hammering on this to let you know that anybody who can deceive God does not value you and I in any ways. So I am finding it difficult to understand or comprehend why my brother thinks that we should understand that maybe scope of design, we understand. If there's going to be 10 lanes, 5 lanes, entering into another point, the motorway is only 2 lanes anyway. So if there's 5 lanes, obviously. But at any point of construction, when there are 5 lanes or 50 lanes, they always join at another point. So that is not enough reason for me to be convinced that it is justification for the figures we are talking about.
I see.
And so they should come again.
Okay, so Council, there are other questions that are being asked by Honorable Governor Agbodza, and I'll just run through them so you can respond. So he talks about the source of funding for the project, which he says is not sustainable. He says the NPP is claiming the source of funds for the project is Mohammed's Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. The NPP said the same thing about how they were going to fund the so-called Agenda 111, housing projects, etc.
No money there.
We all know the status of Agenda 111 and all today. They've collapsed the GIIF, unlike the past when GIIF backed projects that are self-financing and sustainable, such as Kotoka Airport Terminal, etc. Now, the NPP incompetently invested the funds in unproductive ventures like SkyTrain, like Pullman Hotel, etc. Then we go to the next question where he says that in any case, why is the NPP not explaining why they cancelled the contract between the Roads Ministry and Motor Angels and why they paid $2.5 million towards that unwholesome contract? And finally, the government currently owes road contractors about 15 billion cedis for works completed and certified and in capital letters not paid for.
In response to Honorable Governors Agbodza, between January 2024 and June 2024, the Ministry of Finance have made payments of about $10 billion in the road sector. And the minister has assured us that an additional 7 billion Ghana cedis in payments will be made to contractors by the end of this year.
The 10 billion is 10 billion Ghana cedis.
Ghana cedis, that's what I said.
No, you said
No.
dollars.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
10
so
billion
you're
Ghana
also
cedis. 10, if I said dollars, then I'm sorry about that.
So it means
It's 10
cedis.
billion Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And we are going to make further payments of 7 billion Ghana cedis in payments to contractors who have completed their works and have been genuinely certified for their payments.
When is that
assurance,
coming?
The minister has given assurance by the last quarter of this year. Clearly, we are getting there. He's mobilizing resources to be able to make those payments. for this project, I think you did not even fully complete the statement of Mr. Governor Agbodza, who said that why should government be undertaking this project at the tail end to an election? The question we are asking is that if you are going for an election, must everything stall in this country? If you are going for an election, must governance cease? Must everything stall? We believe that governance is a continuous process.
But is it not a fair question to ask? The 3 months to elections, you're now cutting short for the motorway?
It exposes the mindset of the NDC as far as this project is concerned.
How?
The reason is that this same project was before Parliament in 2019.
Okay.
And 2020 thereof, it went before Parliament. And this approval of Parliament came in December 2023. December 2023. So a project that was started in 2019, 2020, but for the back and forth, financing issues and there it's stalled. And Parliament has made approvals of the same project, and you are questioning. You are questioning the project. But if the project has commenced, whether it is even at the tail end of the government, and the project, it's a legal project of which it has gone through the full rigors of the laws of our country as far as procurement and all the processes there is concerned, why must we question it? Because it comes to satisfy the interest of the Ghanaian. Mind you, politicians are benefiting their livelihood at the expense of the citizenry because we are paying politicians to serve our interest. What the citizens desire or deserve from politicians is that politicians be able to provide them with the municipal services that the citizens of our country deserve, i.e. roads, electricity, hospitals, good schools, and the likes. And that is what government is doing. Look at the STEM education, the STEM schools, the model smart schools that government is putting up. Look at the one tablet to students. Look at the Agenda 1 district hospitals. Look at the completion of the Eurojet, the Bosch Eurojet project that was started by President Kufuor. That was never completed under the NDC. But for this government, it has been completed and handed over.
So hold on.
And a whole lot of these projects.
So I was trying to read on this. So you said it was approved in December 2023.
Yes.
Now, I'm reading an article here, 4th January 2024, and the topic, this is on pulse.com. It said that reconstruction and expansion of 19-kilometer Tema motorway into 10-lane starts. This was as far back as January 2024.
Yes.
When this was announced.
Exactly.
Why are we cutting sword in August when there's already an article that's saying that the work had already started? So what exactly had started in January?
The moment. Hold
on, sir.
Please don't conclude. You see, don't expose yourself, Elikem, on there's no money. This is a PPP arrangement. So it is not clearly under the ambience of the government of Ghana. Government of Ghana is funding through its equity of $380 million. But the moment Parliament approved of the concession, the agreement of this project, then it is deemed to have commenced because once it has received ratification from Parliament. And mind you, because of the Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act, the PFM Act, Section 33 mandates that multi-year or multi-layer contract must come before Parliament for approval. And this, because it's a multi-year contract, it is going to last for 30 years, it must go before Parliament. I have stated on your platform clearly, on the basis of law, that this is a public-private partnership arrangement under Act 1039, the Public Procurement and the Public-Private Partnership Act, where government of Ghana, through its equity and sourcing the participation of the private sector, it's undertaking this infrastructure development. And the contribution in equity of the government of Ghana through the the infrastructure investment fund, Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund of $380 million is what government of Ghana is putting into this. So
what I'm trying to say, so why is the article saying, because it says precisely here that the reconstruction and expansion of the motorway started on Tuesday, January 2, 2024.
I said,
is that wrong?
I have stated here clearly.
Or that was the design part that has started?
That once Parliament approved of the agreement, it is deemed to have commenced. So there's further need for mobilization and there is to get to site. And this is the time that the contractors are on site. Government has gone there to break the ground for the formal commencement of the program as far as the various approvals and the works around it is concerned. Okay. So certainly, if Pulse.com was ahead of time, probably yes, because of the interest of what we desire to get good roads to run on, to get good municipal services to use as people of this country. That is why they were excited.
Let's continue with the rest. So in terms of sustainability of funding.
In terms of sustainability of funding, this is the innovative way of running this project to get the project completed in time. Every student or every professional in project management will tell you that for every project, there must be a start and a closure. And what is required of you is the scope, the design, and the finances, the cost component. Once all these material things are available, but for I know that the planning process, they have incorporated all the risk mitigating measures that can impact upon this project into this. And they are telling us that this project will run for 36 months and will be handed over for use by the people of this country and all their rates. So certainly, in terms of sustainability, everything has gone into it. The minister told us that the $380 million that the government of Ghana is putting into this project, as far as the equity of the government of Ghana is concerned, is ready because we have already secured that amount of money.
From the GIIF?
Yes.
Okay.
We have already secured that amount of money, and that we are looking at the private sector, what the private sector is also bringing in to be able to start the process, the contract running.
Were we not told the same thing for Agenda 111?
Agenda 111 is just told.
Were we not told the same thing?
No, Agenda 111 is just told.
But even if we ask for updates...
Averagely, an Agenda 111 project is almost around 65% completion rate.
Averagely?
You can, yes,
all of them?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying, averagely. Because it's 111 hospitals. And if I'm telling you that averagely, we have a completion rate of about 65%, it tells you the state of the Agenda 111 district hospital. And I'm telling you on this platform that in the next 2 months coming, you will see the commission of some of these Agenda 111 district hospitals and hand it over.
Well, we're expecting all of them to be commissioned before the end of the president's tenure because that's the promise he gave us.
Whether all of them are completed or not, we will see the commissioning and handing over for
we are going by the words of the president.
The people of this country.
Council,
as far as the deliverables of government is concerned.
We want to believe the president because he came back and told us that, and again, not to digress, he told us that was, the earlier timeline that he gave of about 18 months, it was an overambitious promise. But this time around, he can assure us that by the end of his tenure, and he was specific, he said all of them will be commissioned. So we're hoping, if you are saying 65% as at August, we're hoping that by the end of his tenure, he will be able to commission. But again, did we pay Motor Angels?
It's a legacy project of the president, and he's committed to that one district hospital.
So Motor Angel, we paid them some $2.5 million US, and we did not take it back?
I'm not aware of the details of what you are telling me, and I'll have to find out and be able to report. I would not like to say something that I am not privy to. Why I'm not privy to the $2.5 million as far as payments to Motor Angels are concerned.
You are not aware?
You are only mentioning, you are not telling me what went into the $2.5 million.
Well, this is a question that's coming from Honorable Governor Agbodza, where he's saying, and let me just quote again, that in any case, why is MPP not explaining why they cancelled the contract between the Road Ministry and Motor Angels and why they paid that $2.5 million towards that unwholesome contract?
I believe we have a government assurance committee of parliament chaired by Honorable Samouku Jeto Ablakwa, and these are works that government has assured us of doing. And certainly, if there have been some payments, Parliament have an oversight responsibility as far as checks and balances of the executive activities and the running of the state is concerned. So certainly they can trigger that to find out, and the minister will come to the floor of Parliament to explain what went into it. If indeed some payments have been made. But I cannot confirm on your show that some payment of $2.5 million have been made.
Okay, Solomon.
First of all, let me say that if you are thinking of the government completing all the Agenda 111, then you must be a joker. You must be living in a different planet because the manifesto of the MPP tells you that they will continue with Agenda 111 during Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's
which I found confusing.
So clearly they are telling you that they will not be able to complete.
So we shouldn't believe the president when he talks then?
The president himself, why must you believe him? At this stage in your state, you don't have to do that. You don't have to. He himself doesn't believe himself. He checked out of the seat last year or so when he said the next president, he's offloading all the problems to Mr. Lanchemate, but we are capable of handling all the nemesis of this administration. Again, you see, the questions that Honorable Kwame Agbodza asked, he shouldn't end it there. I'm very disappointed. He is a legislator. He should go back to Parliament and hold the minister responsible for roads and highways together with the finance minister and ask him these very questions. This morning we are talking about $2.5 million. Yeah. Go to the RENA unit, we only needed 4 million Ghana cedis and it was closed down. So if $2.5 million, the last time we were told, Skytrain, 2 million, it went.
Yeah.
We are going to London to Accra, 6 hours, $12 million, a Japanese something. $12 million. Last time, some small taxes we are collecting, 1 billion. These people, they don't respect dollars, they don't respect cedi. And we cannot continue like that. It must cease at a point. $58 million, we pass back here. The president is going about, going to, Ukraine, going to beg someone who is in war. Why we could do these things here with prudent management. So it must not end here. He has to use his legislative powers to hold the minister to parliament and ask him these questions for us to get the necessary answers. And once we are able to get that, then, I mean, why would anybody have any problem? In terms of sustainability of the project, I remember when they were passing the loan or approving the loan, they were clear in their mind that the revenue from our oil is what is going to be used. At least if we cannot pinpoint anything that we have gotten from the oil, I believe it's a wise decision that we can point to the motorway that we used our oil revenue to construct it, rather than we misusing it for things that do not help.
But you are the same person that's saying that even this figure is inflated already.
No, but the figure is inflated. There's no doubt about that.
We should be happy that it's our oil money. Is there guarantee that all that money is going to go into this?
But some are going to people's pocket. That one, are you in doubt?
No, that's why I'm asking you that.
I have already made that point, so there is no need to restate the point. What I'm saying is that, in spite of the fact that people are going to enjoy from this whole contract, at least as a citizen of this country, what is my benefit? I'll be plying on that road. You get my point. So that I will benefit from it. A road that contains about 45,000 traffic daily is a very serious road that you don't have to joke with it. So in spite of the chop, let them do it with the oil money so that we will benefit from it. But you see, this business of people stealing from the state, a day of reckoning is coming. Alan Chemantin will deal expeditiously with anyone. If someone is in Sawam because he stole plantain, chicken, hen, 7-10 years, what makes anybody think that you will take out millions of dollars and then go scot-free? That assurance I can sit here and offer to the people of this country that the only man who is focused on dealing with corruption head on is Mr. Alan John Kojo Chemantin. And that is why nobody must make that mistake not to vote for him.
I see.